Hello, Facebook. I'm going to jump on here not for too long, but I wanted to paint this super cute Sweet Farm door hanger. So I think I've kind of played with a few different layouts, and I think I like this one the best. So I'm going to be painting this. My kind of color scheme, I'm going to do the background white and kind of make it look like shiplap. And then I think I'm going to do this teal, the wording, Sweet Farm teal. And then I think I'm going to do the rooster black. So kind of going for some high contrast farm, cute, fun stuff. But I'm going to start off by painting the chicken. And for my chicken, I'm just going to be using white paint. Like I said, I'm going to kind of make this look almost like shiplap, or attempt to. We'll see how good I am at it. But I'm just going to come in here, and I'm using acrylic paint. Just coming in here, and I'm going to do a solid layer of white, and then I'm going to come in and add some shading, and then I'll add the lines for, like I said, that kind of shiplap look. Let me know if you guys are fixer-upper fans. I love farmhouse, distressed, country, rustic, whatever term you want to use. But I love things that look like they've been on a farm or a ranch for 100 years and have been beat up and banged up and just look like they have a cool story to tell. So that's, like I said, kind of what my inspiration for this was. But the fun thing about these kits is that, I mean, you can paint them however you want. So, you know, if you want bright reds or yellows, you can paint these however you want. And the fun thing is that the pieces are 3D, so you don't really have to worry about like messing it up. And if you've heard me once, you've heard me a million times say, at the end of the day, if you mess it up, it's only paint. You paint right on top of it, and nobody will ever know. But I'm just using white paint, going back and forth. And I don't mind that there's the paintbrush streaks. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I'm intentionally painting side to side because that will help. Like I said, I want this to kind of look like it's, you know, made out of old boards. Like I said, shiplap. So I'm intentionally going side to side so it automatically already kind of starts to look like wood planks or boards. I'm just coming in with that white, kind of just smushing it on to get paint everywhere. And then as I'm evening it out and spreading it back and forth, like I said, just going side to side. Super easy. I've done a ton of these kind of faux, fake wood plank signs, and I've even done them on canvas, so I can even I've even painted canvas to look like wood planks. So it's not that hard, and actually the less you overthink it, the better. I'm gonna come in, I think, and add a little bit of brown, just like I said, to make this look like it's wood grain. Actually, no, I'm going to use black instead. So we'll kind of have some gray colors. I already have some gray mixed up. So still using that same brush with a little bit of gray. Just picking a few spots to wipe it off on. And then just going back and forth so it blends a little bit, but not too much. When it comes to acrylic paint blends when it's wet. So since that white paint is still wet, and I'm kind of coming in here with some gray paint, it'll kind of automatically blend and give it a little bit of that streaked look. The more I run my brush back and forth, the more that will blend. And I don't want it to all be one, you know, solid color of gray. I want it to be kind of streaked throughout. So I'm going to blend it some, but not too much. It's just that kind of balance of when to say when. And I think I'm almost there. All right. I think that's good for now. I'm going to set that to the side. and let it dry, and then I'll start painting the little words and the little pieces. So set this to the side so it can dry. And the way I have my setup right now, I can't see what you guys are saying, but if you guys are chatting, say hi. Let me know what you got going on today. Jeremy and I went and ran some errands this morning, and there's a really pretty park that we've been wanting to check out, and we had some extra time and weren't in a rush to be anywhere, so took about 45 minutes and went for a little walk. I wouldn't say hike because we weren't going up any mountains, but a nice little walk. If you saw, I went live earlier today from the little park we were at. It's a really pretty, I guess it's a river. I mean, it's not huge, so it's bigger than a stream or a creek, but not quite like a massive river. So whatever is between a river and a stream, that's what it was. But really pretty, really kind of soothing. Jeremy was joking that it sounded like a white noise machine because it was so like just the soft little sound of the water. Kind of romantic stroll with my honey. So once again, I'm going to do my rooster, my chicken, this black. I think I might still come in and distress the edges a little bit, and I'll show you what that looks like, but just a solid, even layer of paint. And once again, like I said, the other piece I was going back and forth specifically to get the brush strokes to look like that. But the reason why I'm doing it with this one is mainly so that way the paint will go on evenly and it just dries better. So just kind of going back and forth. And I have these art kits. You can either get them with just the wood cut out and then the 3D pieces. If you're like me and you have a ton of art supplies and you don't need paint, the company that sends these out can either send you just the wood cutout or the wood cutout and also some paint and brushes. So both of those are available. Once again, just going to take my rooster to set him to the side to dry. And then I'm going to start coming in and doing all the letters and the words. Farm, sweet farm. And like I said, I'm doing these in teal because it's one of my favorite colors. But a lot of the stuff in my home is teal already. So just kind of fun to come in here and paint one of my favorite happy colors. And the thing with these is that, you know, like I said, if your kitchen's like, let's say a bright yellow and you want to paint it, you know, colors to match. I know my friend Christine, she saw when I was kind of showing you all the different designs that I got about a week ago. She was like, oh, that chicken one, that's going to be mine. So it'll be fun to see as you guys start painting these and posting pictures, what colors you use. So I'm just using a little brush, but you could use like a sponge brush. You could use like one of those foam brushes, anything just to put a thin little layer of paint on the top of these. But they're so fun because, like I said, the pieces are separate, and so you can arrange them however you want. But as you can see it. And then I just use like a wood glue, but you could use super glue. You could use, like if you're a crafter or if you make jewelry and you have E6000, that's like a really heavy, heavy duty glue that works really well. But like I said, these are so fun to do and perfect for spring. I'm definitely feeling ready for bright, happy, chippy I can't talk evidently, chipper colors. I do love winter. I do love the snow. Live in Montana and we've been here since 2017, and I still love when the snow falls. I don't necessarily like being in it, like if I have to drive in it, but I do love the snow and winter, but I am ready for spring. Flowers and planting. I have a little patio garden, And by that I mean that the patio is the one place I know that the deer that come through my yard won't come and eat my plants because it's kind of up a few sets of stairs. And then Jeremy put like a little, kind of like a little fence around it. But I have a couple 5-gallon buckets on my deck that I grow. Last year was the first year I did it here in Montana. But had some tomatoes and had some peppers. What else did we grow? Onions, sage. I had some flowers, just some pretty petunias. But I love gardening, and as soon as our snow does go away, I'm excited to start up my little patio garden. So actually, if you're watching this, like I said, I can't see my phone screen, but if you're watching the replay or watching this live, let me know. Last year I found a really cool way to take canvases. If you have old canvases that you don't plan on reusing, I actually cut the canvas fabric off of the wood kind of frame that holds the stretched canvas on there. And I figured out a way to make really cute little, like a little tabletop greenhouse or a little tabletop terrarium. And I'd be more than happy to show you guys how I did it. So if that's something that sounds like it'd be fun, let me know. And I can definitely show you how I made them. They're super fun. And you can either leave the wood just as is, or you can paint it white. I did one white, or you could even like stain it. So if you wanted the wood to be darker, and then you can just use any clear plastic, and they're really cool. So if you want, I can show you how to do a low budget DIY, use what you got, like little tabletop, either, I guess it's like a greenhouse or like a little terrarium. I don't know what the difference between a terrarium and a greenhouse is. So if you know, let me know. But they're really cute, and it actually worked. We got some tomato starts and had them, I mean, they were inside, so it wasn't ever cold, but we had them in a sunny window, and those things definitely worked, because sometimes it would get like kind of like when the humidity builds up, how it's kind of like, I don't know if it's misty. It's not really foggy, but whatever that is. You could definitely tell that it was retaining the heat and the moisture, so that was kind of cool. And I'm just going over and putting a second real quick layer on these letters, just so that teal is very, very vibrant. But the really also nice thing about doing these wood door hangers, and once again, I call them door hangers. You don't have to hang them on your door. You can, put this in your kitchen, or if you have like a little pretty, little entryway in your home. But these door hangers are really, really smooth. The wood on them is super smooth. And so it usually only takes about one coat of paint, which is super awesome. Because sometimes with like canvases, because it's fabric and it just absorbs the paint, so you have to put on usually sometimes 2 to 3 coats. But these, I'm just doing this because, like I said, I want this teal to be very, very vibrant. But usually it only takes about one layer of paint, which also saves you money on paint. All right. I always kind of joke because I love buying art supplies. If you're an artist, you're probably the same way. I always joke, I'm like, some women, they like bags or shoes. Me, just give me free reign in an art supply store and I'll be the happiest woman on the face of the earth. But lately I've had a really great couple of opportunities to do some art time with some ladies in a recovery program. And then also here in Montana, in Missoula, they call it the safe outdoor space. And it's an area where homeless people live. And I've been able to go down there a few times and take some supplies and do art with them. And man, talk about talent. Holy moly. Some of the talent that those people have is just amazing. All right, so let me get this up. Trying to get my lights all figured out. All right, so let me put this to the side, and then I'll get the big piece, the big backer, and then we'll start putting this beautiful sign together. Like I said, I'm still going to go in and distress the edges, and I'll show you how to do that. It's actually a lot easier than most people think. A lot of people get intimidated, but there's no reason to be. It's not hard at all. All right, so here is our big kind of background piece. And with this, to make the, usually I'd let this dry a little bit more because it's still a little bit wet. But what I'm going to do is come in here with, where did I put my paint? There we go. So I'm going to use a flat brush. This is kind of one of my favorite tricks, if you will. And when you have these brushes, if you notice, see how there is, I kind of tell people it's kind of like a minus sign. You can either hold it up and down or side to side like a minus sign. And this is what I like to make lines with. The main reason being is that this brush will hold, like if I have these two brushes, this brush is going to hold a whole heck of a lot more paint than this brush. So I like the bigger brushes, but once again, this is not something that you have to do. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to freehand this. So a couple of tricks. Come in here, and if you want, you can kind of make lines and then just kind of connect the dots, or you can actually go old school and use a ruler. But like I said, my paint is still a little bit wet, so I don't want to use a ruler. And I don't know if you guys could see that or if you can see it, but my line is not perfectly straight. It's a little bit wobbly because I'm a human and I don't paint perfectly straight lines without a ruler, but that's okay because like I said, this is our background. Let me see what I want to do. I'll do 4. But like I said, this is also kind of like that farmhouse feel. So even if this was a real, you know, few pieces of boards kind of put together, maybe it's barnwood, maybe it's old and funky and gnarly and, you know, has a story to tell. But just going to come in here. And once again, I'm just kind of coming in here and just kind of eyeballing where those lines would be. I know for a fact that my math is not correct, but that's okay. It's that rustic kind of farmhouse look. So we got the lines in there now. And another quick tip, when you're doing lines like that, you can also use a Sharpie. That is one thing that I think people just don't, you know, understand, is that Sharpies work awesome when it comes to making art. So I want you guys to see this, and then you can help me decide. So I'm going to put the chicken right there. And like I said, this is still kind of ooey gooey, so I may come back and clean up some of the lines. But I just love teal and black. I just think it's classy. And like I said, these are still super, super wet, but just kind of want to get an idea, and you guys can give me feedback on what you think. Oh my gosh. So cute. I love it. Like I said, I think I'm going to still come in and kind of distress the edges, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. I'm just going to demonstrate it. I'm not going to do it over the entire the entire painting, because once again, I just don't want to mess it up too much. It's still a little bit wet. And so one of my favorite tricks is to use these chip brushes. So this is one, you can see I've used it many times and I use them over and over again. But I like the fact that the bristles are all kind of funky and I'm going to get a lot of texture. So whatever color you use, kind of dip your brush in that color and then wipe most of it off. I have my paint in these little cups, but you know, you can use the side of a plate. And I'm just going to come in here and just gently kind of brush that brush against the edge. In this case, it's that wooden sign, but see how it kind of distresses the edges a little bit? And if you go nuts, you can always come back with white paint and kind of mellow it out. I actually think, see how I'm dragging it further? I think I like that. But it just kind of pulls some of the teal from the lettering. And I might actually even do the same technique on the rooster with some white paint. So I have a couple different ideas going. This is definitely too wet for me to do much more at this moment, but I did want to jump on here. I know I haven't been painting as much with you guys as I told you I would, and I try and be a person of my word, so I did want to jump on here. But like I said, it's a pretty wet day. We had a little bit of snow a few times yesterday, and it's cold, so things aren't drying as quickly as they sometimes do. Humidity plays a big role. So if you're ever doing anything like this and your paintings are just taking forever to dry, pay attention to what the weather is like outside. So I'm going to let this dry for a few hours, and then I'll come back in and kind of work on some of it. And then I'll post a final picture. But if you guys have any feedback, please let me know. And like I said, if you're interested in ordering one of these, the cool thing, there's a lot of cool things, but I love the fact that these pieces are 3D. And then, like I said, you can just use wood glue, E6000 super glue, any heavy duty kind of crafting glue. And you can glue those pieces on there. And then how cute would this be, like in a kitchen, or like I said, in a mud room, or even on your front door? So I hope you guys are having an awesome, awesome Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon.